what do you think about this recommendations of this report? What was your first opinion? Some people felt like it shouldn't have been public, but what do you think of these recommendations that this report has brought up, and do you, how do you believe it should be implemented? I'm asking you to do what people's job, but...
No, I was not surprised with the recommendations made, because if you look at the membership of that panel of inquiry, it was generally constituted by people of proven integrity. So I had no fears. And the evidence were uncontested. I was part of that process. The evidence was clear and unequivocal. So when they came up with these recommendations, I was very impressed, especially on the vexed question of whether there was a massacre or not. The panel didn't leave it elusive. The panel came clearly to take a position on that matter. Now, what will now happen to implementation? I don't want Nigerians to be carried away. Because, like we say, eternal vigilance is the price of liberty. To begin with, we must admit that the governor and the government of Lagos State does not have 100% power to implement recommendations of that panel. Will the federal government be able? Are they even willing to implement it? I am not optimistic. And why am I saying I'm not optimistic? In 2016, we had a massacre in Kaduna State in Zaria, where Buratai's convoy was obstructed by members of the Islamic movement of Nigeria. At the end of the day, 348 persons were killed, as found by the Justice Mohammed Garba-led panel of inquiry. Has it been implemented? The answer is no. Has anybody been put on trial? The answer is no. Was anybody dismissed? The answer is no. So why would we now expect that this is going to be different?
What would happen if, at the end of this white paper, and the government, whether it's the federal government or the state government, fails to implement some of these recommendations? What should the people now do?
It will be an invitation for another EndSARS. It's as simple as that. You see, my concern is that we have a leadership in this country that does not learn from history. In 2018, the National Human Rights Commission went around the 6 geopolitical zones to investigate cases of abuses by SARS. That panel indicted several SARS operatives, even recommended prosecution of a number of them. When they submitted their reports, it was thrown into the dustbin of history. When EndSARS happened, that was when the Attorney General of the Federation suddenly woke up and said, oh, that there's a recommendation, there's a report by the National Human Rights Commission. Till date, it has not been implemented. No police officer, no former SARS operative have been put on trial on account of that report. Some of these persons kill people, many people, cases of missing individuals, like the Awuza SARS. Nothing has been done. It is very important for me as a sign of good faith. That is why I'm saying maybe we should give the governor some modicum of benefit of doubt to see whether he will live up to his promises. To begin with, I do not understand why offering an apology should be difficult. It is the simplest of the recommendations. I also do not see any challenge in renaming the toll gate or saying that 20th of October every day should be a toll-free day. I also do not see any challenge in compensating victims. Even some have already been compensated. So these recommendations are implementable. There is nothing complicated about these recommendations. The government must acknowledge that people were killed. In fact, they have already acknowledged by the findings of the committee. It was set up by the government. They must go further to now state unequivocally that we committed a crime against the youths of this country. Because this is why this is important. The incident of the toll gate, for me, was the most virulent attack on patriotism. Yeah. When you are saying people should not fight for Biafra, and you kill them, you say people should not fight for Duduwa Republic, and you detain some Igbo and kill some of his supporters. And those who are fighting for Nigeria, singing the national anthem, raising the national flag, were shot and killed. So what do you want? Don't fight for Biafra, don't fight for Duduwa, don't also fight for Nigeria. The government must take a position. So when you attack people for singing the national anthem of their country, that was an atrocity against Nigeria.
What can the governor do, as I said, to demonstrate to Nigerians that the ones within my purview, I can carry out. The ones within my purview, I would ensure that we fix this so that at least Nigerians know, that Lagosians know that the governor of the state is ensuring that there is an implementation of part of the recommendation within his own purview?
In quick addition, before you answer that, I wanted to just, you hinted at it, but just to state clearly that Lagos State has paid compensation to the tune of 420 million to those that have not, those that were affected by the EndSARS protest, while we're still expecting many other states. They were even indicted at the anniversary that Oyo hasn't paid, Osun, Akwa Ibom, Benue, Ogun, Gombe, they haven't paid any compensation, despite the fact that they were
Lagos State has paid some compensation. So what else can they do at this point to show the demonstrator?
The governor can do a lot. Let us, as I said, we shouldn't be mistaken. Legally, the governor is constrained when it comes to the military and the police. He cannot sanction them. But these officers function and operate in his state. If I am the governor of Lagos State, if I cannot put those military officers on trial, I can at least send a memo to the president and say, these people are in my state. I do not want them to serve here anymore. That is if you don't want to sanction them. Now, LCC is not entirely a private company. LCC is a private company with a government interest. If you look at the history of LCC, it was a public-private partnership. The government had a serious stake in LCC. In fact, LCC is owned by the Lagos State government, even though it is registered as a private entity. So let us not say that the governor cannot do anything. LCC tried to cover up evidence, as found by the committee. Somebody switched off the light. Has that person been fired? The answer is no. Those who went to clean the toll gate, those who went to clean the toll gate to tamper with evidence, have they been dissatisfied?
Yeah.
Have they been fired? Governor Sanwo-Olu can do these things. Because he has immunity, you cannot put the governor on trial. He can say, oh, I invited the military in good faith. But on account of that invitation, people lost their lives. You must apologize. Because if Nigeria were a serious country, by now you would have had litany of resignations. You will not wait for the president to say, I no longer need you. You will not wait for the governor to sanction. People would have tendered their resignation. The chief of army staff would have left office by now. The chief of army staff would have left office. Even the commissioner of police of Lagos State, he would have tendered his resignation.